The alarm bells rang through the massive space station called Nexus Prime. The sound echoed in the metal halls as alien beings rushed to their posts. Something big was happening, and nobody knew what it was. Admiral Zeftar walked quickly down the main corridor. His blue skin was darker than usual, which meant he was worried. The Admiral had 4 arms and stood 8 feet tall. He was from a planet called Centauri, where his people had been traveling between stars for over 3,000 years. The Admiral entered the big meeting room, where the Galactic Council always gathered. The room was huge, with a clear dome showing the stars outside. Around a large crystal table sat representatives from 12 different alien worlds. Each one looked very different from the others. Commander Velinara was already there. She looked like a giant snake, but with arms and a smart face. Her green scales moved as she breathed, showing she was nervous. She came from the Andromedan galaxy, very far away from where they were now. "What do we know so far?" Admiral Zeftar asked as he took his seat. Dr. Crixeth, who looked like a big insect with 6 legs, tapped on his computer pad. His voice buzzed. When he spoke, "The energy readings are unlike anything we have seen before. 3 hours ago, our sensors picked up a massive burst of power from the outer edge of known space." The Admiral looked at the hologram floating above the table. It showed a map of their part of the galaxy with a bright red dot blinking at the edge. "How much power are we talking about?" "More than our biggest ships can produce," Dr. Crixeth replied. "The energy signature suggests advanced quantum technology, but not like any of our records show." Elder Morden spoke from across the table. He was very old, even for his species. His body looked like it was made of living stone, and tentacles grew from his head instead of hair. He had been alive for over 500 years and had seen many strange things. "In all my time, I have never seen readings like these. Whatever made this energy burst has technology that is more advanced than ours." The other council members looked at each other with worry. For thousands of years, their civilizations had been the most advanced in the galaxy. They thought they knew about every intelligent species that could travel between stars. "Commander?" Velinara's forked tongue flicked out as she spoke. "Could it be one of the ancient races returning? The ones that disappeared long ago? Possible?" said Elder Morden. "But the energy pattern is completely new. It's not like the old technology we have found on dead worlds." Meanwhile, very far away in another part of space, Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship. The ship was called the USS Leviathan, and it was the biggest and most advanced vessel that humans had ever built. It was over 2 kilometers long and as wide as a small city. Captain Morrison was 50 years old and had spent most of his life in the Earth Navy. His hair was gray at the sides, and his face showed the lines of someone who had made many hard decisions. He wore a blue uniform with silver markings that showed his rank. "Status report," the captain said to his crew. "Chief." Engineer Lisa Hayes looked up from her control panel. She was a smart woman who had helped design the ship's new engine system. "All systems are working perfectly, Captain. The quantum fold drive is ready for our first test." The quantum fold drive was something completely new. Human scientists had worked for 20 years to build it. It could make their ship travel faster than light by folding space around them. No human ship had ever gone faster than light before. Navigation Officer Paul Carter checked his instruments. He was young but very good at his job. "Course is set. For the outer system, Captain. We will be the first humans to leave our solar system." Captain Morrison nodded. He felt excited and nervous at the same time. Earth had been alone in space for so long. They had sent radio signals into space for over 100 years, but never heard anything back. Most people thought Earth was the only planet with intelligent life. "Prepare for quantum fold jump," the captain ordered. The bridge became quiet. As everyone focused on their jobs, the Leviathan carried 8,000 crew members, including soldiers, scientists, engineers, and pilots. They were the best people Earth could send to represent humanity among the stars. Lieutenant Danny Brooks sat at the sensor station. He was responsible for watching space around the ship and looking for anything unusual. "Captain, all sensors show clear space ahead. No objects detected." Commander Susan Walsh, the captain's second in command, stood next to him. She was a tough woman who had fought in Earth's recent wars. "Sir, are we really ready for this? We don't know what's out there." Captain Morrison looked out at the stars through the big windows at the front of the bridge. Earth was a small blue dot behind them now. "We'll never know until we try, Susan. Humanity has always been explorers. It's time we explored beyond our own solar system." The ship's computer, which they called Helen, spoke in a calm voice. "Quantum full drive is fully charged and ready. All systems are green for jump." Dr. Amanda Price, who studied languages and communication, sat at her station nearby. "Captain, if we meet anyone out there, I have prepared basic mathematical signals we can use to communicate. Numbers and simple physics should work with any intelligent species." Back on Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council continued to study the strange energy readings, and more reports were coming in from scout ships in the area. "The energy burst came from sector designation 727 Alpha," reported Scout Commander Tessera. "Her body was made of living crystal that glowed with soft light. Our closest patrol ship is still 6 hours away from reaching that location." Admiral Zefter stood up and walked to the big window. Outside, he could see dozens of ships from different worlds docked at the station. "Send word to all fleet commanders. I want our best ships ready to investigate. If this is a new threat, we need to be prepared." "What if it's not a threat?" asked Dr. Crixeth. "What if it's just a new species trying to say hello?" Elder Morden's stone-like face showed what might have been a smile. "Then we welcome them to the galaxy. But until we know for sure, we must be careful." Captain Morrison took a deep breath and gave the order that would change everything. "Gauge quantum fold drive. Let's go see what's out there." The USS Leviathan disappeared in a bright flash of blue and white light. For the first time in human history, a ship from Earth had left the solar system and entered the vast unknown of deep space. The galaxy was about to meet humanity. Nothing would ever be the same again. The USS Leviathan moved through a strange blue tunnel of light and energy. Captain Jake Morrison gripped his chair as the ship shook slightly. No human had ever experienced traveling faster than light before. The quantum fold drive was working, but the feeling was very different from what they had expected. "How long until we reach normal space?" Captain Morrison asked. Navigation Officer Paul Carter checked his instruments. The numbers on his screen were changing very fast. 30 seconds. "Sir, the fold space is more stable than our simulations predicted." Chief Engineer Lisa Hayes watched her engine readings carefully. "Captain, the quantum drive is performing better than we hoped. Could travel much farther than planned if needed." Blue tunnel suddenly disappeared, and the Leviathan appeared in normal space again. Stars filled the view screen, but these were different stars than the ones near Earth. They had traveled over 50 light-years in just a few minutes. "Sensors, full sweep," ordered Captain Morrison. "Tell me what's out there, Lieutenant Danny." Brooks worked quickly at his station. His face became serious as he read the results. "Captain, I'm picking up multiple artificial objects. Large ones. They appear to be ships." Commander Susan Walsh moved to look over his shoulder. "How many ships?" "At least 12, maybe more. They're arranged in some kind of formation about 2 million kilometers away from us." Dr. Amanda Price looked up from her communication station. "Captain, I'm detecting radio signals. Multiple frequencies. Very complex patterns. It's definitely some kind of language, but not like anything in our databases." Captain Morrison felt his heart beat faster. They had found intelligent life. After centuries of wondering if Earth was alone in the universe, they had their answer. "Are the signals directed at us?" "Not yet, sir. They seem to be communications between the ships." "But wait." "Act!" Dr. Price adjusted her equipment. "Now I'm picking up directed signals. They know we're here." Meanwhile, aboard the Galactic Council flagship Cosmic Dawn, Admiral Zefter stared at his own sensor readings with disbelief. His forearms moved quickly across multiple control panels as he tried to understand what he was seeing. "Scan that vessel again," he ordered his sensor officer. Lieutenant Thalvex, being with large eyes and gray skin, worked at his station. "Sir, the readings are confirmed. The ship is over 2 kilometers long. Our scanners detect thousands of life forms aboard. but the species signature is completely unknown. Commander Velinara slithered closer to the Admiral, her snake-like body coiled as she studied the data. Admiral, that ship just appeared out of nowhere. One moment, empty space. The next moment, this massive vessel. What kind of technology can do that? Dr. Crixith buzzed with excitement from his station. The energy patterns suggest they used some form of space-folding technology. But our scientists said that was impossible with current physics. Elder Morden's voice came over the communication system from his own ship.
Admiral, this changes?
Everything. Earth is listed in our databases as a primitive world under observation. Their most advanced technology was chemical rockets the last time we checked. Admiral Zefter reviewed the data on his screen. Earth was indeed marked as a restricted world in their files. The inhabitants were classified as pre-contact civilization, not ready for galactic society. Yet here was clear evidence that humans had achieved faster-than-light travel. When was our last survey of Earth? The Admiral asked. 50 Earth years ago, replied Dr. Crixith. They had just begun launching small vessels into their local space, classified them as at least 300 years away from star travel. On the USS Leviathan, Captain Morrison called his senior officers together for a quick meeting. They gathered around the main table on the bridge while keeping watch on the alien ships. Recommendations? The captain asked. Commander Walsh spoke first. Sir, we should be ready for anything. Those ships are in a defensive formation. They might see us as a threat. Dr. Price had been working on the alien signals. Captain, I think I can establish basic communication. The signals show mathematical patterns. If I send simple numbers? In physics equations, they might understand we're trying to talk. Chief Engineer Hayes checked her readings again. Our weapons and shields are ready if needed. But, Captain, their technology might be more advanced than ours. We should be careful. Navigation Officer Carter pointed to his star charts. Sir, we're a long way from Earth. If something goes wrong, it would take days to get home, even with the quantum drive. Captain Morrison thought for a moment. These were the first aliens humans had ever met. What they did next could determine the future of Earth. Begin basic communication protocols, he decided. Send mathematical sequences and simple physics. Let them know we want to talk. Dr. Price began transmitting. She sent the numbers 1 through 10, then basic mathematical equations like 2 plus 2 equals 4. After that, she transmitted the speed of light and other universal constants aboard. The Galactic Council ships, the alien crews watched with growing amazement as they received the human signals. They're using mathematical communication, announced Dr. Crixoth. Standard first contact protocols. But the transmission power and clarity suggest very advanced communication technology. Admiral Zefter made a decision that would change galactic history. Respond with the same protocols. Show them we understand and want to communicate. The exchange of mathematical signals continued for several minutes. Both sides learned that the other was intelligent and wanted peaceful contact. But the Galactic Council representatives were becoming more worried with each passing moment. Admiral, said Commander Velinara, their ship design is completely unknown. The materials, the energy output, the size. How did they advance so quickly? Elder Morden's ancient voice carried concern. Perhaps our understanding of human development was wrong. Maybe they have been hiding their true capabilities. Scout Commander Tizara reported from her crystal ship. Long-range sensors show no other vessels in the area. This appears to be just one ship, but what a ship it is. Captain Morrison decided it was time for direct communication. He had Dr. Price prepare a message using the universal language of mathematics and simple physics that they had established. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the United Earth vessel Leviathan, he transmitted. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship with other intelligent beings. The translation caused immediate shock among the Galactic Council commanders. Earth was supposed to be primitive. The beings on that planet should not even know that other intelligent life existed in the galaxy. Impossible, whispered Admiral Zefter. How can they have achieved this level of technology so quickly? Dr. Crixith was studying every detail of the human ship. Admiral, their vessel appears to be armed. I'm detecting weapon systems that I don't recognize. Commander Velinara's scales shifted color, showing her nervousness. What if they're not from Earth? What if there's something else using human identification? Elder Morden considered the possibilities. No, the biological signatures match Earth humans, but this represents the fastest technological advancement in recorded galactic history. Captain Morrison waited for a response from the alien ships. His crew watched their instruments carefully, ready for anything that might happen. Finally, the response came. The translation was rough, but understandable. Greetings, vessel from Earth. I am Admiral Zefter of the Galactic Council. We are surprised to meet you here. Our records show your world is not yet ready for contact with galactic civilization. Captain Morrison looked at his officers with surprise. There was already a galactic civilization, and Earth was known to them. But why did they think humans weren't ready for contact? The two groups of ships faced each other across the vast emptiness of space, each trying to understand how this meeting had become possible. Captain Jake Morrison stared at the translation on his screen. The aliens knew about Earth. They had been watching humans for years, but thought they were too primitive for contact. This news shocked everyone on the bridge of the USS Leviathan. Been watching us? Asked Commander Susan Walsh. How long have they known about Earth? Dr. Amanda Price worked to improve the translation system. Captain, I'm getting better at understanding their language. They mentioned something about surveys and restricted world status. Navigation Officer Paul Carter looked worried. Sir, if they've been watching us, they probably know about our military capabilities, or at least what they used to be. Chief Engineer Lisa Hayes checked her systems again. Captain, our technology is completely different from anything they seem to expect. Maybe that's why they're surprised. Captain Morrison decided to be honest in his next message. Admiral Zefter, this is Captain Morrison. We are indeed from Earth. This is our first journey beyond our solar system. But we did not know that other intelligent beings existed until today. The response from Admiral Zefter came quickly. Captain Morrison, our last survey of your world showed primitive rocket technology. How did you develop faster-than-light travel so quickly? Before Captain Morrison could answer, something went wrong. Commander Velinara on the Andromedon ship misunderstood the situation. In her culture, when two fleets met in space, it was normal to fire a warning shot to show strength. She ordered her ship to fire a single energy beam past the USS Leviathan. The bright blue energy beam shot across space. Missing the human ship by only a few hundred meters, alarms immediately began ringing on the Leviathan's bridge. Warning shot. Fired, shouted Lieutenant Danny Brooks. Energy beam passed close to our starboard side. Captain Morrison's face became hard. In human military tradition, firing near another ship was an act of war. He had no way of knowing this was meant as a peaceful gesture in alien culture. All hands, battle stations, the captain ordered. This is not a drill. The USS Leviathan, transformed from a peaceful exploration vessel into a war machine. Red lights flashed throughout the ship as 8,000 crew members rushed to their positions. Weapon systems that had never been tested in real combat came online. Commander Walsh took control of the tactical systems. Weapons are powered and ready, Captain. Main guns are charging. Launch all fighter squadrons, Morrison commanded. Show them what humans can do when threatened. Squadron leader Tony Martinez led the first group of fighters out of the Leviathan's massive launch bays. The human fighters were small but very fast, with advanced weapons and shields. They had been designed using the best technology Earth could. Create Alpha Squadron launching now, Martinez reported over the radio. Beta Charlie and Delta Squadrons following. The alien ships watched in growing amazement as hundreds of small fighters poured out of the human vessel. The fighters moved in perfect formation, their engines glowing bright blue as they accelerated to incredible speeds. Admiral Zefter stared at his sensors in disbelief. How many fighters does that ship carry? Over 400, sir, reported Lieutenant Thalvex. And they're moving faster than our own fighters. The energy readings suggest technology we've never seen before. Dr. Crixoth was frantically analyzing the human weapons. Admiral, their energy signatures are completely unknown. The power output exceeds our theoretical maximums. On the Andromedan ship, Commander Velinara realized her mistake. Admiral Zefter, I fired a standard diplomatic warning shot. I meant no harm. You may have just started a war, Admiral Zefter replied angrily. These humans don't seem to understand our customs. Elder Morden's voice came over the communication system from his ship. All vessels, power down weapons immediately. Do not fire unless fired upon. We must not harm these beings. The USS Leviathan's main weapons came online with a deep humming sound that could be felt throughout the ship. The massive energy cannons were larger than anything the aliens had ever seen on a single vessel. Chief Engineer Hayes monitored the power systems. Captain, all weapons are ready. We have enough power for sustained combat if necessary. Dr. Price continued, trying to communicate with the aliens. Captain, I'm receiving multiple signals from their ships. They seem to be telling each other not to fire. Squadron Leader Martinez led his fighters in a complex demonstration flight around the alien fleet. The human pilots showed off their training by performing maneuvers that seemed impossible. They flew in tight formations at high speed, demonstrating both skill and advanced technology. Look at them move, whispered Scout Commander Tissera. From her crystal ship, our best pilots could not fly like that. The alien fleet commanders began to understand that they were facing something far more dangerous than they had expected. The human ship was larger than their biggest vessels, carried more fighters than their entire fleet combined, and showed technology that surpassed their own. Admiral Zefter made a crucial decision. All ships moved to defensive positions, but do not raise shields. Show them we are not looking for a fight. Commander Velinara's ship slowly backed away from the USS Leviathan. Admiral, I request permission to send an apology message to the humans. Granted, Admiral Zefter replied. Make it clear that the warning shot was a cultural misunderstanding. Dr. Price received the apology message and quickly translated it for Captain Morrison. Sir, they're saying the energy beam was not an attack. It was meant as a peaceful greeting in their culture. Captain Morrison considered this information. The alien ships had moved to defensive positions, but were not raising shields or charging weapons. Their fighters remained in their launch bays. Commander Walsh studied the tactical situation. Captain, they could have attacked us by now if they wanted to. Maybe they're telling the truth about the misunderstanding. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Rebecca Stone spoke up from her station. Sir, if this really was a cultural mistake, showing too much force might make things worse. Captain Morrison made his decision. Stand down from full alert, but maintain battle readiness. Recall half the fighter squadrons, but keep the others in defensive formation. Squadron Leader Martinez received the order. Copy that, Captain.
Alpha.
And Beta squadrons returning to ship. Charlie and Delta maintaining patrol. The demonstration had achieved its purpose. The alien fleet now understood that humans were not primitive beings to be ignored or dismissed. The USS Leviathan had shown technology and capabilities that exceeded their own. Elder Morden transmitted a message to both Admiral Zefter and Captain Morrison. I propose we arrange a peaceful meeting to discuss this situation. It is clear that both sides have much to learn from each other. Admiral Zefter agreed immediately. Yes, Elder. We must establish proper diplomatic contact. Captain Morrison looked at his crew. They had just faced down an alien fleet and shown that humanity was a force to be respected in the galaxy. Dr. Price, send a message agreeing to a meeting, but make it clear that we want neutral ground and guarantees of safety. The USS Leviathan and the Galactic Council fleet faced each other across space, no longer as potential enemies but as groups, trying to understand each other. Humans had proven they were not the primitive species the aliens had expected. The galaxy was about to learn that. Humanity was a force that demanded respect and recognition as equals among the stars. The neutral meeting station appeared on the view screen of the USS Leviathan. It was a simple structure built quickly by both human and alien engineering teams working together. The station floated in empty space between the two fleets. Designed to accommodate both human and alien life forms, Captain Jake Morrison stood in his ready room, preparing for the most important meeting in human history. He had chosen his team carefully. Commander Susan Walsh would come with him as his military advisor. Dr. Amanda Price would handle communication and translation. Lieutenant Colonel Steve Johnson, the ship's Marine commander, would provide security. "Are you ready for this, Captain?" asked Commander Walsh as she checked her uniform one final time. "As ready as anyone can be for meeting aliens," Morrison replied. "Remember, we're representing all of humanity today." Chief Engineer Lisa Hayes monitored the station's systems from the Leviathan. "Captain, the station's life support is working perfectly. The atmosphere is safe for humans." Dr. Rebecca Stone, the ship's medical officer, had prepared emergency medical supplies. "Sir, I've loaded the shuttle with everything we might need if there are any biological compatibility issues." The small human shuttle left the USS Leviathan and approached the meeting station. At the same time, several alien shuttles approached from the other direction. Each alien species used different types of spacecraft, showing the diversity of the Galactic Council. Admiral Zefter arrived first at the station. His blue skin looked almost purple under the artificial lights. He moved carefully on his 4 legs, his 4 arms adjusting his ceremonial uniform. Behind him came Commander Velinara, her snake-like body moving smoothly as she entered the station. Dr. Crixith scuttled into the meeting room on his 6 insect legs. His compound eyes reflected the light as he looked around the chamber. Door. Morden entered last, his ancient stone-like body moving slowly but with great dignity. When Captain Morrison and his team entered the station, the aliens stared with obvious curiosity. Humans looked similar to several species in their databases, but there was something different about them. The aliens could sense a strength and determination that was unusual. Captain Morrison, Admiral Zefter, said through the translation device, "Welcome to this historic meeting." "Thank you, Admiral," Morrison replied. "We come in peace, hoping to learn about the galaxy and find our place among the stars." The meeting room had been designed with furniture that could accommodate all the different body types. Captain Morrison sat across from Admiral Zefter, while the other representatives arranged themselves around the large table. Elder Morden spoke first, his ancient voice carrying great authority. "Captain Morrison, your species has surprised us greatly. Our records show Earth is a primitive world, yet your ship demonstrates technology that surpasses our own in many ways." Dr. Price translated carefully, making sure every word was understood correctly. "Elder Morden, humans have always been quick to learn and adapt. When we set our minds to solving a problem, we don't give up until we find an answer." Commander Velinara leaned forward, her serpentine form coiling with interest. "How? Did you develop faster than light travel so quickly? Our species took thousands of years to achieve what you accomplished in decades." Captain Morrison thought about how to explain human nature to beings who had never experienced it. "We learn from failure. Every time something doesn't work, we try a different approach. We also work together, sharing knowledge freely among our scientists and engineers." Dr. Crixeth buzzed with excitement. "Your quantum fold technology is completely different from our methods. Our scientists would be very interested in studying your approach. We would be honored to learn from your knowledge," Morrison replied. "Humans believe that sharing knowledge makes everyone stronger." Admiral Zefter pulled up a holographic display showing the galaxy. Thousands of star systems glowed in different colors, representing the various civilizations. "Captain, this is the current map of known galactic civilization. As you can see, we have contact with many different species." Morrison studied the map with amazement. Earth was just a tiny dot in one corner, while vast areas of space showed thriving civilizations. "How many intelligent species are there?" "Over 300 that we know of," Elder Morden answered. "But none have advanced as quickly as yours. Most species take millennia to develop star travel." Commander Walsh looked at the strategic implications. "Admiral, are there conflicts between these civilizations? Wars or territorial disputes?" "Sometimes," Admiral Zefter admitted, "but the Galactic Council exists to prevent major conflicts and encourage peaceful cooperation." Lieutenant Colonel Johnson had been quiet, but now he spoke. "What about species that are aggressive or refuse to cooperate?" Commander Velinara's scales shifted color, showing concern. "There have been a few cases. Usually economic sanctions and isolation convince them to change their behavior. Dr. Price had been analyzing the alien languages during the conversation. Captain, their communication methods are fascinating. Each species has developed completely different ways of expressing complex ideas. Elder Morden seemed to read the unspoken question in Morrison's mind. Captain, you are wondering what this means for Earth, are you not? Yes, Elder. We want to know where humanity fits in this galactic community. The old being's tentacles moved in what might have been a smile. Captain Morrison, after seeing your capabilities today, the Galactic Council would like to invite Earth to join us as a full member. The words hit Morrison like a shockwave. Full membership in a galactic civilization was beyond humanity's wildest dreams just days ago. Admiral Zefter continued the explanation. Normally, new species must undergo centuries of evaluation before being considered for membership. But your demonstration today showed that humans possess both advanced technology and peaceful intentions. What would membership mean for Earth? Asked Commander Walsh. Dr. Crixith answered excitedly. Access to galactic trade networks, shared scientific knowledge, protection under Council law, and the right to establish colonies on suitable worlds. Morrison felt the weight of the decision. This would change everything for humanity. This is not a decision I can make alone. I would need to return to Earth and consult with our governments. Of course, Elder Morden said. Such an important decision requires careful thought. But know that you have already earned our respect and admiration. Commander Velinara added, your species' rapid advancement suggests great potential. We believe humans could contribute much to galactic civilization. Dr. Price looked up from her translation equipment. Captain, they're offering us something that most species wait thousands of years to achieve. Admiral Zefter stood up, his forearms spreading in what seemed to be a gesture of friendship. Captain Morrison, regardless of your decision about membership, today marks the beginning of a new era for humanity. You are no longer alone in the universe. Morrison stood as well, feeling the historic nature of the moment. Admiral, on behalf of all humanity, I thank you for this opportunity. We will consider your offer carefully and with the respect it deserves. The meeting concluded with exchanges of basic cultural information and communication protocols. Both sides agreed to maintain regular contact while Earth considered the membership offer. As captain, Morrison's shuttle returned to the USS Leviathan. He looked back at the alien ships one last time. Humanity had ventured into space, seeking knowledge, and found something far greater than they had imagined. Commander Walsh sat beside him in the shuttle. Captain, do you think Earth will accept their offer? Morrison watched the stars through the shuttle window. Susan, I think this is the beginning of humanity's greatest adventure. We've proven we belong among the stars. The USS Leviathan prepared for its journey home, carrying news that would change human civilization forever. Earth was no longer alone, and the galaxy had gained a new member that would surprise everyone with their determination. Ingenuity and rapid advancement among the stars. The age of human isolation was over. The age of humanity as a galactic power had begun.